Hi, this is Julie and Kyle for the last time.
Yep, you have made it to the final session, session 10, making CoupleTalk the new normal.
Have you ever tried to make something the new normal?
Yeah, a few years back I realized I was eating a lot of fast food and not doing any exercise, and I started to feel kind of blah. So I decided I needed to make a change in what I was eating and to start working out.
How'd you do?
Ultimately, I failed miserably.
Really? Why?
Well, in my head, I really wanted to make the changes, but my mouth and my stomach and the rest of my body put up a fight. They weren't ready to make the change.
So what happened?
I went back to my same old routine. I probably gained 15 to 20 pounds in that time. One day, someone came up to me and offered some unsolicited weight loss advice. That night, I looked in the mirror and saw why they had approached me. I had a heart-to-heart with my mouth and my stomach and the rest of my body, and we agreed that a change needed to be made.
So all of you was on board?
For a while, but they began to revolt. It's too hard, I miss yummy food, I'm too tired to work out today, how about tomorrow? Eventually I brought in some reinforcements. I found someone who could walk me through the changes I needed to make to my eating habits and my exercise habits. That really made a difference. Eventually my new diet became my eating habit, and my new workout became my regular exercise regimen.
It sounds like making the personal decision to do things differently, working with someone to make the changes with, and a little accountability helped you make a positive and necessary habit change in your life.
Yep.
Sounds a lot like how we made CoupleTalk the new normal in our relationship. Each of us decided we wanted to make a change in how we communicated. We worked together to use CoupleTalk more and more, and our CoupleTalk coach helped us use CoupleTalk and provided a little accountability too.
I hadn't really thought about it that way, but you're right.
I know. Well, let's get into it. Here is Dawn and Alex with making CoupleTalk the new normal.
We've come to the final session of CoupleTalk, cracking the code to an amazing relationship.
And wow, we have covered a lot of ground. And you all have been doing a lot of really hard work, and we congratulate you for that. Really good stuff. In this session, we're going to be talking about making CoupleTalk the new normal. We want you to take what you've been learning here and help that to become your natural behavior. And we'll be working on that in this session.
Part one of CoupleTalk was about cracking the code to a deeper connection. And you remember in Trading Places, you learned about the foundational element of empathy, where you saw things from your partner's point of view. And then in Listening Fully, you focused on listening to understand your partner more deeply, their feelings and concerns and desires. In expressing yourself, you learned how to say what was true for you, but in a way that didn't harm your relationship. And then you put the two roles together, the listening with empathy and expressing yourself together to have a couple talk, where you learned how to have a safe dialogue where both of you felt really fully understood. And in growing as a team, you learned how to keep your relationship alive and growing for the long haul. Remember the appreciations, the dates, and who are dates for? They're for married people. So you've got to keep that connection alive.
In part two, cracking the code to handling conflict, we talked about getting a grip on your emotions. You learned how to manage strong feelings, and you gained some practical tools to do this.
Remember that resolving a problem is in two parts. In digging deeper during disagreements, you're having a couple talk where you talk about all of your feelings and concerns and desires about the issue, and your partner listens with empathy to you. And as you work your way through that issue, that falling leaf may occur, where you go deeper, as we say, and you really understand each other fully. It may take you places where you haven't expected, and you need to take time doing that. When you're both ready and you've really said everything you want to say and really feel understood, that's when you move to finding the win-win-win, which are practical strategies to help you come to an agreement that you're both going to be happy with and that you're actually going to put in place and keep following through on.
In the last session, Moving Beyond I'm Sorry, you learned some foundational principles about apology and forgiveness, along with some practical steps to take to repair the relationship when it's been injured.
And remember, you learned a different way of saying, and I'm sorry in everyday life. So instead of I'm sorry, but, you can leave here now with a way to do a deeper apology, but a quick one. You name what you did, you talk about what might have been the consequences to your partner, frustration or inconvenience or whatever, and then you say out loud, I'm sorry. So that's our new way of saying an apology in everyday life.
So let's return for a moment to last session's topic, apology and forgiveness. There are some particular questions that we often receive about this topic, and they're in your workbook. Questions like, what if my partner doesn't do their part? What if, first, my partner doesn't apologize? You can still choose to forgive. It doesn't depend on them. So let go of your negative emotions, continue to do your work, and be patient. Give them time.
And if resentment comes up in you, feelings of resentment or other negative feelings, choose to replace them with positive feelings, positive thoughts, and loving actions towards your partner.
On the other hand, what if my partner doesn't forgive me? Be patient again. Their healing might take time. Be respectful. Continue to do your work in forgiveness.
If guilt or defensiveness comes up in you, again, choose to replace those negative feelings with positive thoughts about your partner and loving actions. And it may be tied into trust, so work towards being consistent and trustworthy in your behavior, and you'll be able to build trust over time.
A final question we address in the workbook is, what if you're stuck? Perhaps apology and forgiveness is difficult for you. Can you apologize? Are you able to do that? Are you able to forgive? Does it make you feel weak or vulnerable to do one of those things? Are you afraid that you might lose? Something would be lost if you do either of those things? What if it feels impossible to forgive? Those are real life struggles. Some people can't apologize yet. Others have great difficulty giving forgiveness. Which is more difficult for you? Can you relate to any of these? We may never have seen apology or forgiveness in our families growing up at all. Or we might have seen worse damage to people when there was an attempt to apologize or offer forgiveness. So how could we be expected to magically know how to do that if we've never seen it or been taught it? You're not responsible for the family that you were born into. You didn't control that. But you are responsible for growing, so let's all stay on that road of growth.
If this resonates with you, the topic that Don has been talking about, it could be that it's a topic you choose to have a couple talk about. Perhaps in this session, when we do the exercise, you'll choose that as your topic.
With that, we move to our final couple talk, and it's a growth topic. Not necessarily a conflict area. It may just be an area where you realize that you have a desire to grow. There's an example of a couple who financially aren't really fighting. They just muddle along with their finances. They may decide they'd like to do better at that, and they want to focus on it. They could have a couple talk about that area. They talk about where they're at now, what they're currently doing, where they'd like to be, maybe set some goals. Just a time for them to grow. So now it's time for you to choose a topic that you'll use in this exercise.
And we have provided a number of possibilities to choose from. So in your workbook, we have a number of pages that provide different broad topics that you may choose to consider focusing on as a growth topic. For instance, we have the topic of finances. There's the topic of parenting. There's sex, romance, and intimacy. There's our spiritual life together as a couple. And there are also topics such as cultural differences, work, house responsibilities, extended family. We also have a page where if you have chosen to do the couple checkup, which you can access at CoupleTalk.com, you would have been able to get a report that assesses your relationship. We encourage you to do that. You would go to CoupleTalk.com and follow the link to take the couple checkup, which provides a report on a number of different things, such as issues in your relationship, personality differences. We took it, and we've learned that when it comes to change, I love change. I like to do a lot of different things. Don, not so much. So they don't tell you that you're going to have terrible problems because of a difference like that. They give you encouragement and they give you some suggestions for how to manage it. But the good news is you're really equipped to handle it because you know how to have a couple talk about it. And one final one is Gary Chapman's 5 love languages. You can go to CoupleTalk.com and find out how to take a survey to determine what your love language is. And what you can do then is both of you take the report and then use that as a couple talk to talk about what love language most meets your needs, and then your partner could talk about that too. So all of these topics, including the finances and the parenting, all of those topics in your workbook are topics for future growth couple talks.
So for each page in the workbook that has those broad topics, we've broken it down into a number of subtopics. For example, the financial broad topic, you might choose to talk about differences in the way finances were handled in your family growing up. Whether to have a formal budget or kind of keep it loose and casual. Some long-term goals, maybe some short-term goals for a vacation. Different topics that you can choose from there, or choose another that you think of yourself. Just there so that you can focus in on a specific topic for not only this exercise now, but also, like Alex suggested, in future couple talks. So right now we'll have you decide on your topic, and we'll give you just a minute to look through and choose what topic you'll use for our practice time today. Go.
Take time now to choose your topic.
Turn back toward Don and Alex. They're getting ready to start up again.
You've landed on a page and picked a topic. And so to get you started on your couple talk, on that page are some prompts to use to get you started. For instance, the way I would like to see us grow in this area is, or as a couple I would like to see us. So go ahead and use them if they're useful to you.
For this exercise, we'd like you to use the U form. And you can use the I form if you prefer, but we want you to be familiar with both. We want you to be able to Give empathy in the I form to your partner. It helps you to go deeper, but using the you form of empathy is more appropriate in certain circumstances. It's the one you've been using when you do your partner appreciation. And that sounds like you think such and such, or you feel, or you want such and such. Okay?
And you remember how to switch roles. You pick up the expression stick if you are the expressor, and when you are starting to feel like you've had a good turn at expressing and your partner has been spending some time listening with empathy, then you can just offer the stick and say, I'd like to hear what you have to say. Or if there are feelings that you would like to express or some thoughts as you are in the role of listening with empathy, you can go ahead and use the nonverbal signal and ask for a turn to express yourself.
You'll have plenty of practice time for this exercise. If you finish one topic, then use another topic. Use this practice time to its best advantage. We'd like you to sit knee to knee, move your chairs. We'll let you know when we're halfway through. We'll give you a signal when there's a minute left so you can wrap up. And when the music comes up again, that's when you need to be back into the big group. Ready, go.
Get knee to knee with each other and start the exercise.
halfway done. This is the final minute, so begin wrapping it up.
Time to return to the group. Don and Alex are getting ready to start up again.
In your workbook, we'd like you to do a final assessment of how comfortable you are using CoupleTalk as the new normal. And so what you'll do is first, mark the form of listening with empathy you prefer, the I form or the you form. Second, how far along have you come in making these skills a habit? Mark on that bar graph how far you believe you have personally come in making them a habit. Finally, we'd like you to check your answers at the end of session 6 in the survey called My Goals, Hopes, and Dreams, and check to see how you did. You marked a couple of goals or dreams, so go ahead and just reflect on where you're at right now.
Okay. We'll give you a couple of minutes to mark in your workbooks. Ready, go.
Now take a moment to yourself and fill in the debrief section in your workbook.
Turn back to the video. It's time to start again.
Okay, well, we'd like to ask you as a group and get some responses. How did your growth couple talk go? And we'd also like to hear about the I and the you form, which one you prefer. Andy?
Yeah, I honestly prefer the you form. It just made the conversation feel very natural. We're able to progress easily and just come to an easy conclusion.
Yeah?
I actually really enjoyed both forms. The I form is a lot, it's harder to use. I'm getting used to it. But I prefer the I form if we're talking about something very sensitive where we might both be a little heated about the topic, and the you form in more like casual conversation or something that we're both a little bit more comfortable with.
Yeah, I've heard that from others, that same kind of thing. Where they might use the I form if it's something that has a lot of feelings attached to it, and use the you form if it doesn't. Well, whatever works. Other comments about I or you? Lee?
In our practice, I've definitely learned to like using the form I when we're having our conversations. It's really taught me to take her perspective more. Since I'm such a fixer, I like to fix things, and she always gets so frustrated at me whenever I'm trying to, ask for forgiveness or trying to win her forgiveness back. And for me to take her perspective and not just try to fix anything, that's really helped me in our conversations, and she's definitely noticed too. So.
You like that, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah, that's beautiful. Nice to hear that. Sarah.
We chose a topic that wasn't a very sensitive topic. It was something that we could work on together. It was our finances. But even though we didn't get to finish the topic like we wanted to, we found that there was a lot more emotions attached to it than we realized. And it takes longer. So I think that's that falling leaf thing you were talking about.
Yeah, that's it.
Right, and the good news is you can continue this couple talk that you're having when you leave.
Oh, we plan on it.
Yeah. Good, good.
Yeah.
Now we want you to talk about your answers to the debrief with your partner.
Ready, go.
Turn and talk to your partner.
Turn back to the video. Don and Alex are getting ready to start.
So that was the final couple talk you'll be having in here, but it's our dream that it's not your final couple talk.
We're hoping you've made wonderful progress, but if in your assessment you didn't get as far as you wanted, don't lose heart if you didn't. So hang in there, keep at it. These are practices and behaviors, tools, skills that you can learn and get better at and improve, just like building up a muscle. So we've talked about making couple talk the new normal in your marriage. But as you've heard from us, these communication skills can be used in all your relationships. Being kind and compassionate and open and honest, that's how we should be with everybody, right? Not just our partner, but with everyone. So let's take a bit of time and reflect on with whom and how we can use these skills.
In your workbook, we'll talk about using the skills with others. And the skills can be used with anyone, anywhere, anytime. So take a moment and think of a person other than your partner with whom you would like to consider using the skills. And reflect on a way that you can begin. For instance, maybe you'll stop using trigger words, or you'll actually out loud give appreciations. Perhaps listening with empathy is something you are considering doing with this person. And if you have children, that is a beautiful gift you can give to them. It shows acceptance and kindness and caring, and you're not trying to fix them and push them and make them do things. If you are in the role of listening with empathy to them, you're hearing their feelings, you're hearing what's going on inside of them, and you'll be able to stay more connected with them. So what I'd like you to do is just take a few moments and write down the name of that person and a way that you would like to begin using the skills.
Go. In your workbook, there are some tips on using the skills with others. Number 1, practice the skills often, in many places, with many people. Try it at home. Neighbors, friends, co-workers, try it out. Number 2, reflect on the difference using the skills can make. What are the benefits of using them? What are the consequences when you don't? Number 3, plan to make the skills a habit. Use those reminders and rewards to develop them into habits. Now we want to give you a couple of experiences with using the skills with those who don't know them. This is your friend. She says this to you.
You should cut back on junk food.
How would you respond to that? Ladies, turn to your partner and model a skillful response to that coworker who just told you you should cut back on junk food. Perhaps you'll express how that made you feel when you heard it. Ready, go.
Ladies, turn and talk to your partner.
Ladies, did you come up with a way to respond to that friend who talked to you about junk food? Carissa?
I just said that I would respond back by saying, when I hear you say that, I tend to get really defensive and self-conscious of my body, and I don't want to feel self-conscious around you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. That's beautiful. All I statements, all from your own point of view. Good job. All right, so you got the idea. Sometimes as we're going through our day, we're going to have people say things that are not skillful, that maybe are pretty out of line, and we still have the capability of responding in a way that is positive, is healthy. Let's look at another. This one is your coworker. Let's see what we hear.
That's a ridiculous idea.
Okay, fellas? Talk to your partner and model back how you would respond if a coworker said to you, that's a ridiculous idea.
Men, turn and talk to your partner.
Okay, fellas, I'd like to hear from one of you what kind of response you might give to that coworker. Adam.
Do you have a better suggestion?
Yeah. Do you have a better suggestion? That's appropriate. So let's do some final practicing and using the skills with those who don't know them. This is a quick exercise, and the first one, we want you to have fun with these, is a role play where you are skillful with somebody who doesn't know the skills, and the scenario is a parent-teacher conference. So men, you're the ones that will be the healthy, skillful communicators, and you are a teacher who has to tell a parent that her child is doing poorly in class and isn't getting along with others. That's your job. Okay? Ladies, you'll be unskillful. And that's where we want you to have a little bit of fun here. You don't have to do the things we've been teaching in Couple Talk. This is where you get to be a little bit out of line. So have some fun because you're helping your partner practice being skillful.
And you've had a bad day, and your little Johnny just does nothing wrong. How could this teacher think that your little son could ever do anything wrong. So you might just decide to interrupt and see what this skillful teacher does if you interrupt them.
Okay, so we'll give you just a couple of minutes to have a little fun with this, but gentlemen, let's hear you be healthy in responding. Ready, go.
Go ahead and talk to your partner.
Time's up. Excellent job. Let's turn back toward Don and Alex.
Sounded like there were some pretty wild lady parents out there, pretty wild moms. I'd like to hear from some of you men. What was it like to try to stay skillful when she was not?
Lee.
It was pretty funny, but I had all my facts straight and I knew why I had her come in, and I could tell she was having a bad day, so I just continued to just stay composed, and I didn't show any disrespect to her. I just stuck to the facts that my employees, the teachers had been coming to me and they were complaining, and just by staying to the facts and staying calm, I think that it kind of makes her look bad for being mad when I'm not mad at all. And I even stated that I really like her child. He's a great kid, and he does well in school when he's not acting up, and
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Thomas.
Yeah, I tried to take the blame out of the child or out of the parent and put the blame on myself as a teacher, because I know that there's different learning styles and there's different teaching styles, and that my teaching style might not be resonating with her son's learning style. So I tried to keep it more on my side, that we could possibly work together to find the best way for her son to learn, rather than saying your son isn't catching up, he's not retaining stuff, he's acting up in class. I'm trying to keep the blame and keep everything, the negative feelings towards me.
Yeah. So you worked hard not to say what you needed to say in a way that felt like blame.
Right.
Beautiful.
So now we have our second exercise. So women, you now are skillful, and you are a coworker with your husband, who's now just your coworker, not your husband anymore. And men, you get to be unskillful. And the scenario is the women, have a project that you believe both of you need to work on and stay after work to do. And men, you are the coworker and you are really tired and you just want to get home. And besides, there's some really great game on TV, and doesn't this woman have a clue that that's the place that you need to be? And so women, you need to talk about asking him to stay late in a way that's skillful, and men, you don't have to be. You don't have to be skillful, okay? So you might interrupt, you might say, you know, something about the importance of the game. And women, let's hope that you can empathize with that, okay?
You're in trouble.
I know I'm ready for this one.
Yeah.
Ready, go.
Turn and talk to your partner.
Time's up. Excellent job. Let's turn back towards Dawn and Alex.
Okay, we have to stop you now. So you were co-workers, you're back to husbands and wives, and we're going to talk about what that was like for you, the ladies, to try to make a request of someone skillfully when the co-worker wasn't being skillful. Tia.
It was actually hard to stay positive because there was a lot of negativity, but I use the skills of just the good I see in your point, and it's like I understand that you want to go home, that it's unfair to ask this of you, and also just appreciating them and saying like, you did such a great job today, and I just wanted to continue to work on this how you have been so that we can get this project done together.
Beautiful. That was great. Yeah, you were seeing his position. Hey, you really probably love going to the game, and it seems unfair to miss out on that. That's beautiful. Anyone else? Jennifer.
It was really cool using the skills because it really calmed down the situation and asking him to do something he really didn't want to do. But he did stump me because he's like, yeah, I'd love to come work on the project after the game's over. And I didn't really know how to respond to that. So.
He was trying to work on a compromise with you. Yeah, And maybe that would have happened because you were being skillful. Maybe people are more willing to work on compromises with you because you address them with respect instead of like demanding. Beautiful.
Well, we have one final quote that we want to give to you. We love this quote, and we think it's very appropriate in our culture. All those, and they lived happily ever after, fairy tale endings need to be changed to, and they began the very hard work of making their marriage happy. We talked in an earlier session about that myth that you're going to meet the right person and everything's going to be perfect and it'll just flow and you'll always be happy. It's just not true. That's the fairy tale that is a myth, and it isn't true. What is true is that that person that you're with can be an incredible partner. And a lot of that has to do with the way we respond to them. Our response is going to influence the direction that the relationship goes. So you've got already the potential for an amazing relationship. And in these sessions, we've picked up a number of skills to help work at that. The principle being, a strong relationship is built. It doesn't just happen. That commitment, that effort, that time, that's what goes into making your relationship a wonderful relationship. We're at the end of the Couple Talk program, but it's not finished. Make it the new normal. So we encourage you to retake Couple Talk. Many of our participants will take the class again as a refresher and get a lot of benefit out of it. Really renews those skills in the relationship.
And don't forget about becoming a Couple Talk coach. You can go on to CoupleTalk.com to find out more about it.
Okay? Well, we want to do partner appreciations for the final time. Okay? So go ahead and turn your chairs and sit knee to knee. Ready, go.
Turn knee to knee with your partner and start the exercise. Time's up. Excellent job. Let's turn back toward Don and Alex.
Well, we're at the end of Couple Talk, cracking the code to an amazing relationship. Alex and I love being in classes like this. We have loved being with you. We've had a number of wonderful experiences with couples and seen so many miracles and so much wonderful growth and change, brokenness put back together. It's a privilege for us to be a part of this program.
And the reason why we do it is because of what it's done for us. It took what would have been maybe a divorce or probably just a terribly dysfunctional marriage. It took that to an amazing relationship. Not a perfect relationship by any means. We still have all of those old natural habits and old tendencies, but because we have the skills, we're able to get through it in a way that not only doesn't destroy our relationship, but has brought us, more close than I ever could have imagined.
As Alex said, I don't think I could have imagined how good it could be. And it's getting better. And who knows how much better it can get. So we're on the road, we're growing, and we want that for you. We want that for each of you.
What a great session.
What a great program. Can you imagine what it would be like if everyone who completes the Couple Talk class makes Couple Talk a part of their home life?
Yeah. Kids growing up in a home with less fighting, Couples spending their time communicating and connecting rather than arguing and hurting each other.
Friction and division over budgets and bills replaced with teamwork and unity. Tension and guilt over intimacy and romance is replaced with mutual understanding and passion.
Misunderstanding and grievances with household chores gives way to agreement and respect.
Making Couple Talk the new normal means becoming a better communicator with everyone. And what you've learned in Couple Talk can be used in other relationships, like with the kids, with friendships, or in the workplace.
And while it can feel awkward at first to listen with empathy to a fellow employee, by using Couple Talk at work, the results are better relationships and better productivity.
Couple Talk is a pathway to a deeper understanding with one another. This helps couples connect on a deeper level and makes them more successful at discussing problems and solving problems.
We have just 3 brief announcements before we wrap up. The first is, on behalf of Dawn and Alex, we want to say congratulations on completing Couple Talk. At CoupleTalk.com, you can sign up for a personalized certificate of completion. You have done so much to get to this point, and you really deserve something special to commemorate your completion of the course.
Second, when you request your certificate of completion, you will receive a voucher for a bonus Couple Talk coaching session. This is on top of the free Couple Talk coaching session you received just for attending the class.
Wow, that is so awesome. And finally, if you're interested in becoming a Couple Talk coach or a Couple Talk host, go to CoupleTalk.com. You can find out more information about these opportunities to help others at the website and sign up to submit an application.
As this program continues to grow, we need all the help we can get to make Couple Talk the new normal for couples everywhere.